Hey everyone, and welcome back to AI Unraveled, the show that keeps you ahead of the curve in the ever-evolving world of AI. I'm your host, and boy are we in for a treat today. We're diving deep into some seriously cool AI developments. And oh, by the way, if you're loving these deep dives, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button over on Apple Podcasts. It helps more folks discover the show, and as always, we appreciate the support.
Always a good reminder. And speaking of support, what better way to support the show than with a donation?
Absolutely. If you're enjoying the content and you'd like to help us keep the lights on, the mic's hot, hit that donate button. The link is down in the show notes. Every bit helps, and we are incredibly grateful for your support.
For sure. Now on to the AI news. Let's just say today's lineup is a doozy. We've got everything from document processing that makes a caffeine-fueled intern look slow, to AI agents that could totally change the game for freelancing, and even avatars that are getting emotionally intelligent.
No kidding. I mean, AI is basically touching everything these days.
Oh.
But hey, let's kick things off with something that I think a lot of us can relate to, the never-ending struggle with paperwork. Mistral AI just dropped a new document processing API that's really shaking things up.
Yeah, this isn't your grandpa's OCR. Mistral's API is lightning fast. We're talking 2,000 pages a minute. That's faster than most of us can even skim a page. And get this, it can handle all sorts of content images, equations, crazy tables, and formatting, you name it.
Oh, and the multilingual aspect is wild too. Their API can handle like thousands of languages, including ones with super complex scripts like Hindi and Arabic. That's opening up a whole universe of data for AI to work with.
It's a game changer, especially for businesses and researchers working on a global scale. Imagine being able to smoothly and accurately analyze legal documents, financial reports, or scientific papers from all over the world.
Now, what about security, especially when we're talking about sensitive information?
Mistral's got you covered. They've got this cool option where you can actually set up the API on your own servers. So everything stays in-house. You get the power of cutting-edge AI without compromising on security.
That's a big deal, especially for fields like healthcare and finance, where data privacy is non-negotiable. It shows that Mistral's really thinking about the practical needs of businesses when they're implementing AI solutions.
Absolutely. They're not just throwing tech out there. They're considering how it's actually going to work in the real world.
Okay, so we've tackled paperwork.
Yeah.
Now let's dive into something that sounds like it's straight out of sci-fi, fully autonomous AI agents. Have you heard about this company in China called 01 Ton AI? They've created this agent called Manus, and this is not your average chatbot.
Right. We've seen AI agents that can handle the basics, but Manus is on a whole other level. This thing can do complex tasks like screening resumes, researching properties, and even coding and working on freelance platforms like Upwork and Fiverr.
I know, right?
Yeah.
In the demos, they even showed it browsing the web, creating visuals, and get this, it actually outperformed ChatGPT and Gemini on something called the GAIA benchmark.
Yeah. That GIIA benchmark is no joke. It's a really tough test designed to figure out how generally intelligent and good at problem-solving an AI system is. So the fact that Manus is acing it really tells you something about its capabilities.
It really makes you wonder, if an AI can do all that, what's next? What kind of tasks could we be handing over to AI agents like Manus in the future?
Yeah.
It's both super exciting and a little bit scary, don't you think?
Definitely raises some interesting questions about the future of work and AI's role in our lives. But for now, Manus is still in a limited invite-only phase. The team behind it is planning to open source the models later this year, though, so we might all get a chance to see what it can do firsthand.
I've already added myself to that waiting list. But while we're waiting for Manus to hit the mainstream, let's shift gears and talk about another area where AI is making waves: avatars. Specifically, researchers are now working on giving these avatars emotional intelligence, and the results are pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. Imagine talking to an AI that not only gets what you're saying, but also picks up on your emotions and reacts accordingly. That's the goal researchers are working towards with these three AI advancements: Phoenix 3, Raven 0, and Sparrow 0.
Okay, so Phoenix 3, that's all about giving the avatar realistic facial expressions. Everything from those subtle eye movements to the tiny micro expressions we make without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's giving the avatar's face a more human touch.
Then you've got Raven 0, which is like the avatar's emotional radar. It reads your body language and facial expressions to get a sense of how you're feeling. It's like the avatar has its own built-in emotional intelligence sensor.
And to make sure the conversation flows smoothly, we've got Sparrow 0 stepping in. It helps avoid those awkward pauses, interruptions, or totally random responses that can happen when you're talking to AI.
The idea is to make interactions with AI feel more natural, more human, and ultimately more engaging. There's this demo avatar called Charlie that showcases all this tech. Charlie can have a conversation, search the web, analyze data, all while showing appropriate emotions and responding to your cues.
Seeing Charlie in action is wild, but it does make you think, how comfortable are we with AI reading our emotions? Does it feel helpful or more like an invasion of privacy? It's something we need to think carefully about.
Definitely. While emotional intelligence and AI could be a game changer in fields like customer service, healthcare, and education, there are definitely ethical considerations. We need to be smart about how we use this technology and make sure it's used responsibly and respectfully.
So true. It'll be fascinating to see how this all plays out.
No doubt about it, there are some big questions to ponder as AI keeps getting smarter. But for now, let's switch gears and talk about some developments that are raising eyebrows for both their potential benefits and their ethical implications. Over in China, they've started using these spherical police robots with tear gas for crowd control.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a kind of a wild example of how AI is changing things for security and law enforcement. These robots are designed to patrol areas, spot potential threats, and even step in when things get dangerous. It's almost like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It definitely raises questions about the future of policing and the role of technology in keeping things in order. Some people might say these robots could help calm situations down and protect both citizens and police officers, but others are worried about the potential for misuse and too much force.
It's a tough issue with no easy answers, but it's a conversation we need to have as AI becomes more and more a part of our lives. On a lighter note, Baidu, that big Chinese tech company, just got the green light to test its self-driving cars in Hong Kong.
That's a huge step towards getting those autonomous vehicles out there for everyone to use. Imagine fewer traffic jams, less pollution, and more freedom for people who can't drive themselves.
It sounds pretty amazing,
Mm.
but there are some real concerns that need to be addressed before self-driving cars take over. Things like safety protocols, who's responsible if there's an accident, and what happens to all the jobs in the transportation industry.
You're right. It's all about finding a balance between being excited about these advancements and being cautious. We need to be aware of the potential downsides and work towards minimizing those risks through careful planning and regulations.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about a tech legend who's been a bit quiet lately, but he's back with a game-changing new project. Google co-founder Larry Page. He's launched this AI startup called Dynatomics, and they're aiming to revolutionize manufacturing.
What's so cool about Dynatomics is their approach to design. They're using AI, including large language models, to design products that are made for efficient production. It's not just about making fancy gadgets. It's about streamlining the whole manufacturing process from start to finish.
And they're not just stopping at the design stage. They're actually building these AI design products and putting them through rigorous testing. It's real-world AI application that could have a massive impact on manufacturing.
Imagine using AI to cut down on waste-optimized resources and create entirely new kinds of products that were impossible to make before. It's like a sneak peek into the future of manufacturing, where AI is the driving force behind innovation and efficiency.
And to lead this ambitious project, Larry Page brought in a familiar face from the world of cutting-edge tech, Chris Anderson, the former CTO of Kitty Hawk, the company that was working on flying cars. We're talking about a team that knows how to push the limits.
It's an exciting mix of visionaries and innovators. With their combined expertise in AI and disruptive technology, Dynatomics has the potential to be a major player in the evolving world of manufacturing.
Speaking of shaking things up, there have been some interesting developments over at Microsoft. It seems they're looking to reduce their reliance on OpenAI.
That's a strategic move that could really change the landscape of the AI world. Microsoft has put a lot of money into OpenAI and its technology, but now it looks like they're focusing on developing more of their own AI capabilities.
Yeah, it's probably a combination of things driving this shift. The cost of using OpenAI's tech is definitely a factor, and Microsoft might also want more control over its AI development and where it's headed in the future. The word on the street is that Mustafa Suleyman, the head of Microsoft's AI division, is leading this effort. They're reportedly building their own AI models to compete with OpenAI's.
This could lead to more competition in the AI field, which is usually a good thing. It could encourage innovation and bring costs down, which would benefit businesses and consumers. But it also makes you wonder about the future of Microsoft's partnership with OpenAI and how this move might impact the development and accessibility of AI technology going forward.
Definitely something to keep an eye on. But just when you think you've got a handle on things in AI, something comes along that throws a curveball. In this case, it's the discovery that Russian propaganda is now reportedly influencing how AI chatbots like ChatGPT and Meta AI respond.
That's a bit worrying. It shows how vulnerable AI systems are to manipulation. NewsGuard, a media watchdog group, has been tracking this network called Pravda, which is known for spreading false information. They found that this network is specifically targeting AI models with misleading information, trying to mess with their outputs.
It's a wake-up call that AI, as smart as it is, can still be tricked and manipulated.
Right.
We can't just assume that AI-generated content is neutral or objective. We have to be aware that AI could be used to spread misinformation and disinformation, and we need to figure out how to fight back against those threats.
It all comes down to critical thinking and media literacy, especially now with all this AI-generated content. We have to be able to evaluate information from any source, including AI, with a critical eye and not believe everything we see or hear.
Well said. And speaking of responsible AI development and use, I want to take a moment to talk directly to our listeners. This show, the research we do, the time we spend diving deep into these complex topics, it's all driven by a passion for exploring the potential of AI and sharing that knowledge with you. And it's all made possible by the support of our amazing listeners. If you're finding value in this show, if you're learning something new, if you're feeling inspired to think differently about the world, we'd be so grateful if you considered supporting the show through a donation.
Every contribution, no matter how big or small, helps us keep this show free and available to everyone. It allows us to keep making high-quality content and exploring the frontiers of AI in a way that's both informative and engaging.
You can find the donation link in the show notes.
Yeah.
And if you're a business owner or someone with a service that you think would resonate with our listeners, we'd love to talk to you about advertising opportunities. You can reach thousands of professionals who are passionate about AI and eager to learn about new products and services that can make their lives and businesses better.
It's a wild world out there for sure. But before we wrap things up, let's do a quick rundown of some other noteworthy AI happenings from March 7th. Get ready for a rapid-fire round.
Buckle up, here we go.
Tencent, that Chinese tech giant, they decided to open source their image-to-video model called Hunyuan Video L2V. This model can create some pretty amazing videos with special effects audio and even lip-syncing capabilities.
It's like putting Hollywood-level tools in the hands of everyday users.
Yeah.
Imagine what filmmakers, educators, content creators, and even businesses can do with that.
For sure. And on the AI safety front, Anthropic, the AI safety company, they've sent some recommendations over to the White House on how to handle this whole AI landscape that's constantly changing.
They're basically saying we need better national security testing for AI systems, tighter export controls to prevent things from getting into the wrong hands, and a major boost to AI infrastructure to make sure development is done responsibly.
It's good to see companies like Anthropic stepping up and being proactive about AI safety and how we govern this stuff. As AI gets more powerful, it's super important to have these conversations and set up rules that prioritize ethical considerations and minimize potential risks.
Couldn't agree more. Meanwhile, OpenAI, they're still rolling out updates to ChatGPT. They just launched IDE integration for macOS. So Plus Pro and Team users can now edit code directly in their development environments.
That's huge for developers. It lets them bring AI assistance right into their coding workflow. So we could be looking at faster development, times fewer errors, and even more creative solutions.
And speaking of cool updates, DuckDuckGo, they've added some new AI-powered features to their browser. They've had expanded anonymized access to leading chatbots and AI-assisted search answers, so you can enjoy all the benefits of AI without sacrificing your privacy.
It's proof that privacy-focused companies are figuring out how to use AI to improve the user experience without compromising their values. It gives users more control over their data and how it's being used.
But not everyone's thrilled with OpenAI's approach to safety. Miles Brundage, the former head of policy at OpenAI, he's been pretty critical of their new safety document. He says it promotes a dangerous way of thinking when it comes to advanced AI systems.
Yeah, it highlights this ongoing debate in the AI community about the best way to make sure AI is developed safely and responsibly. As AI systems get more complex and powerful, we need to have open and honest conversations about the potential risks and how to handle them.
Absolutely. Now, for something completely different, remember Dig, that social media platform that kind of faded away? Well, it's making a comeback thanks to its founder, Kevin Rose, and Reddit co-founder, Alexis Ohanian. They're bringing it back with AI-powered moderation and a revamped user experience.
It'll be interesting to see if they can make a splash in the crowded social media world, but it shows how AI can breathe new life into old platforms and create fresh opportunities.
Definitely. And OpenAI, they haven't slowed down. They just released their GPT 4.5 preview model to all Plus users.
That's right. It was originally just for pro users and developers through the API, but now it's available to a wider audience. So ChatGPT Plus users get to play with even more advanced language processing capabilities.
More creativity, more nuance, more sophistication. And while we're on the topic of OpenAI, that legal battle between Elon Musk and OpenAI is still going strong. A federal judge shut down Musk's request to stop OpenAI from switching from nonprofit to for-profit, but other parts of his lawsuit are still in play.
This whole case brings up some big questions about who owns AI, who controls it, and how it should be developed. As AI becomes more valuable and influential, I think we're going to see more legal challenges like this.
For sure. Now let's give a shout out to some big names in AI research. Andrew Barto and Richard Sutton. They just won the 2024 Turing Award for their pioneering work in reinforcement learning. You know, that area of AI where you train agents to learn through trial and error.
Their work has laid the foundation for so many of the AI advancements we see today. It's a great reminder of how important fundamental research is for moving AI forward.
So true. And speaking of real-world applications, Scale AI, the company that provides data infrastructure for AI, they just landed a huge contract from the U.S. Department of Defense for a program called ThunderForge.
It involves using AI agents for military planning and operations. It shows how interested the military is in AI, but it also brings up ethical concerns about using AI in warfare, something we need to be very careful about.
Agreed. Now, for all the coders out there, Codium has released a new version of their AI coding assistant. It's called Windsurf Wave 4. And it's got all sorts of goodies like AI-powered previews for faster app development, tab-to-import functionality, and suggested actions to streamline the coding process.
These kinds of tools are becoming essential for developers. It helps them write better code faster and with fewer mistakes.
Totally. And last but not least, Luma Labs has added some cool new features to their Ray 2 video model. They've got keyframes extend and loop, which give users more control over video generation.
It's all about giving creators more power and flexibility to produce dynamic, engaging, and visually stunning content with AI.
So there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of some of the biggest AI stories from March 7th. It was a busy day in the world of AI, with breakthroughs happening left and right.
It's incredible to see how quickly things are moving in AI. It seems like every day there's something new and groundbreaking that could change everything.
It's an exciting time to be following this field, and it's clear that AI isn't just some sci-fi fantasy anymore.
Yeah.
It's here, it's evolving at warp speed, and it's already having a huge impact on our lives.
But as we get excited about all the possibilities, we can't forget to talk about the ethical side of things, the potential risks, and the long-term consequences. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we create together through our choices, our actions, and the conversations we have.
So true. As we wrap up this episode of AI Unraveled, we want to thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery. We hope you learned something new, sparked your curiosity, and maybe even started thinking about the role of AI in our world in a new way.
This is just the beginning. The advancements we're seeing today are just a taste of what's to come. As AI keeps evolving, we can expect even bigger breakthroughs and applications that will shape our future in ways we can only dream of.
So stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the amazing world of AI. And if you want to dig deeper into any of the things we talked about today, be sure to check out the show notes for links to articles, research papers, and other resources. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep unraveling the mysteries of AI.
We'll be here to guide you along the way. See you in the next episode of AI Unraveled.